maintain a strong-willed child cooperation in a way that you are not breaking their confidence, but still you're gaining their cooperation. They're listening to you. My name is Marcela Collier. I am a parenting coach with High Impact Club. Today I'm going to share with you how strong-willed children function, the way that they learn and receive information, and how to use that to respond effectively to their behaviors. And if you're wondering about discipline, stick to the end because I'm going to tell you a key point, a key element when disciplining strong-willed children. If you like gentle parenting, if you are interested in parenting your children from understanding, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Every single week I bring to you parenting with understanding content. It was 2012 and I was doing foster care for a 7-year-old. He's an amazing boy, but he had a really strong personality. Strong-willed children. Children that people label as stubborn, children that people label as defiant. I'll never forget, it was his first dentist appointment and it was time to go. We were on the time. We didn't have time to waste time. And then that was back in the day before I was a therapeutic provider, before I knew anything about behavior or behavior intervention or children's emotional needs. So I told him, let's go to the car. And then I got his first, no, I'm not going. And then it didn't matter how much I tried to convince him, he didn't want to go. And then it came to a point that I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait for you in the car. I went to the garage, I turned on the car, and I waited and waited and waited and kept on waiting. And 5 minutes later, he opened the garage and I was like, okay, now we are moving forward. Moving forward to what? The next thing that happened is that he threw a big tantrum and then he just became aggressive. He just went to the ground and then he was kicking and screaming, I don't want to go. And I felt lost. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to force him. Of course I didn't want to force him, but I didn't want to miss the appointment. And that was a struggle that I didn't know how to solve. I remember that day we ended up rescheduling the appointment, and all this would have been prevented. Now, after I have the understanding that every single behavior is the communication of a need, I know that if I knew what I know now, things would have been prevented since the moment that I told them that it was time to go. Let me know in the comments if you relate to this or give me a thumbs up. There are two things that I didn't understand. I didn't understand, one, what his personality was. So strong-willed children are children that it is not that they're stubborn. They just like to learn things by themselves. They love reasons. They like explanation. They like control. And two, when they feel out of control, when they feel that they don't have those explanations and that empathy, then they try to control back. How? With defiance. How? With tantrums. And that's how they handle stress, by fighting. There are 3 stress responses: fight, flight, or freeze. So strong-willed children usually they fight it. They fight it with all their will, they fight it. And then we feel that pushback. We feel that fight from them. And if we are strong-willed ourselves, we tend to control them back, and it is a power struggle. Looking back, what would have I done differently? It was his first dentist appointment. So of course, for him, it was a big deal because it was his first dentist appointment in my care. One, strong-willed children are not going to follow instructions from somebody they don't trust all the way there yet. Even though he had the opportunity to see that I was a safe adult, the trust factor wasn't all the way there. So I should have spent a little more time, a little more effort preparing him in advance, even before it was time to tell him it's time to go. In advance, maybe the day before, I should have talked to him about the thing that was going to happen the next day. I would have felt a little sense of control instead of just me all of a sudden, let's go, time to go to the dentist. They're going to touch your mouth. They're going to be in your mouth. That's going beyond his physical boundaries. I didn't consider that. Number two, so instead of me being extra focused on getting the car, I should have gone to his eye level and I should have empathized with him and I should have acknowledged his feelings and I should have provided support, emotional support to him. Things would have been way different compared to how things went down that day. Me going in the car and saying, I'm just going to wait for you in the car, that's a form of control. If you think about it, that's a form of manipulation because children don't feel safe when the caregivers are not right next to them. If I think about it, me going in the car, he's used to seeing adults walking away. He's used to seeing adults leaving him. So I'm sure that tantrum wasn't a tantrum, was a nervous breakdown. And of course, I wasn't going to leave him. I was just there in my garage waiting inside the car. He was 7 years old and I wasn't going to leave him, but he didn't know that because he didn't have the trust with me. You see how I escalated the situation just by not having the understanding of what his emotional needs were. And I didn't have the understanding of what trauma can do to a child. He was a child that had trauma, that had a neglect history, that had an abandonment history. I wasn't conscientious of that. It wasn't that I was trying to be mean. I was just trying to get him in the car, and that was my way at the time that I saw could help. And it didn't help because he wasn't empathetic. Even though I wasn't yelling at him, even though I wasn't spanking him, I wasn't abusing him, in a way, it was a form of emotional manipulation. So it wasn't okay, even though I didn't know it wasn't okay. So instead of that, I should have provided him with coping strategies or things that he can do while we are in the car or going from the house to the car to help him cope through the moment. Maybe I should have provided some comfort objects or something that he feels a little secure, that he feels a little bit that he can get through that safely. Those are coping strategies. And if you want to help your strong-willed child through big emotions, but you don't know how, the Coping Strategies Guide, it is a guide that I wrote based on my therapeutic training. Again, that story was before I knew any better. But I've been helping children with high behavioral needs get through big emotions, get through big behaviors like that. And I've been helping thousands of parents all over the world. So I'm going to leave the link down here if you want to grab that Coping Strategies Guide. It's very inexpensive. Or if you just want to explore other High Impact Club parenting education platform products. To recap, in order for you to gain your strong-willed child's cooperation, you need to have the understanding of how they process information. They like to be in charge. They like when things are being told to them in advance. They don't like to feel out of control. You need to understand those needs and their temperament and meet those needs. And that's how you gain their cooperation. And that is parenting with understanding. It only takes understanding to transform your parenting. You don't need more patience to raise your strong-willed child. You don't need more patience. You could have 3 times more patience tomorrow, but if you still don't have the understanding on how to help him through his behaviors according to his needs, you won't do anything. You need understanding, and you can gain understanding here in High Impact Club. highimpactclub.com has a full range of guides, workshops, and the Parenting with Understanding program, all with that intention. I promised you I was going to tell you the key of gentle discipline when it comes to strong-willed children. And the key is to discipline strong-willed children through relationship and not through punishment. They're going to fight you even more if you take that toy away. They're going to fight you even more. If you did what I did, go to the car and just manipulate them to do what you want. Instead, focus on the relationship. focus on the trust. Focus on them feeling that you get them, that you understand them. I guarantee you that you are going to get better results with your strong-willed child. I've been doing gentle parenting for a long time, and if you want to learn a gentler way or a more gentle way to approach your children's behaviors, I encourage you to go to this video. I'm going to walk you through all the things that I've learned in all the years that I've been parenting my children from a gentle perspective with understanding. I'll see you there, and keep parenting your children with understanding. I'll see you next time. Bye.